Talk midterms. Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker is denying a new allegation that he paid for another woman to have an abortion. The woman and her attorney showed evidence of her relationship with Walker at a press conference and said Walker paid for her to get an abortion and drove her to the clinic after she did not want to proceed with the procedure the day before. She's the second woman to come forward with a claim of this nature. All this as key races heat up in other states like Pennsylvania and Florida. To help break it all down, ABC News White House correspondent MaryAlice Parks. MaryAlice, so I heard Election Day is less than 2 weeks, but early voting is already underway. Where do things stand right now, especially in those key battleground states like Pennsylvania and Georgia?
Yeah, Kenneth, you're right. Voting is already underway. Millions of Americans have already cast their vote, including in some of these incredibly close Senate races. We've seen a real tightening in the polls the last few weeks. Take Pennsylvania. We had John Fetterman, the former lieutenant governor there, and the Democratic Senate candidate over the summer showing a comfortable lead in some polls, but in the last few weeks, a real tightening. And both Pennsylvania and Georgia looking essentially right now like true toss-ups. And remember, we are talking about currently a 50-50 Senate. So each one of these parties really feels like they have no room for error, that each one of these races could really be the deciding factor when it comes to control of the Senate. And that's why we're just seeing so much national attention on these individual races. And I think both in Georgia with those allegations like you were talking about, as well as in Pennsylvania with that tough debate earlier this week, voters are really sort of weighing what they think about the individual candidates versus how they might vote in the Senate if they were to win.
And we know, MaryAlice, Democrats continue to trail when it comes to the economy. Today, President Biden touted that new GDP report showing a growing economy. Is there anything Democrats can do to improve their numbers on that front, or is it just too late?
Yeah, Democrats are trying to walk this really tight line between saying that they understand that voters are struggling right now. They understand this is the driving issue in these midterms. But people like Joe Biden and Democrats who've been in power are trying to say, look, I've done things to work on this. I've passed laws that are supposed to help. I'm not sure that's breaking through. Democrats have had a hard time crafting a message around the economy, reminding voters what they believe in, what else they would do to work on the economy. This has been really tough for them. Midterms are always a referendum on the party in power, and we know that voters are frustrated with these high gas prices, frustrated with the cost of food, and largely taking that out on Democrats who've had control in the White House, the House, and the Senate. I think that Democrats are going to have to find a way to keep talking about those economic issues that a lot of people do agree with, proposals like paid maternity leave or a higher minimum wage, but they've had a hard time convincing voters why they should vote for them again when they weren't able to get some of these things done.
So President Biden on the trail heading to Miami for a rally next Tuesday, just 1 week ahead of Election Day. Ironically, at the same time, former President Trump will be in town campaigning with Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Why is President Biden heading to Florida and not other states like Georgia? And what do you make of Trump snubbing GOP Florida Governor Ron DeSantis?
Yeah. Oh, the 2024 intrigue has begun. You're like planting all the little seeds, right? Interesting. If former President Trump does not campaign with DeSantis, is that because he views Governor DeSantis as a potential 2024 rival? Maybe. Is it because he thinks that Senator Marco Rubio's race has the potential to be closer than DeSantis's race? That could also be. It is really interesting that Biden is headed to Florida, also potentially setting up a conversation about him versus DeSantis potentially in 2024, and whether he actually believes that that race is closer. We've seen him coming out and publicly supporting the Democratic candidate for governor there, Charlie Crist. I think that big picture, Democrats have been frustrated that they've lost ground in Florida over the last few years. They're eager to find a way to sort of inch back in that state. We will all be watching all of those events very closely.
MaryAlice, at the top, I said you were going to help me break it all down. That's really breaking it all down right there. Thank you so much, MaryAlice Parks. Appreciate it. And we will have full coverage of the midterm races on election night, November 8th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.